leftist lawn guy land says, I hope John Fetter bitch gets a lot of coal in his size 25 stocking. Between the 101 and the 5 says, honestly, guys, do you think Fetterman's stroke altered his personality a bit? There's no way for me to speculate on that.
I think he's just being like a contrarian, like being super obstinate because people have not been a fan of his behavior, which is always what you want to see in like a, public figure.
Right. Just being completely strident because you're being criticized by the people that voted for you. Congressional baseball fan says, to blame TikTok for people being against the Zionist genocide against Palestinians is truly bizarre coming from a guy whose campaign was only anything because of their well-handled social media presence against Dr. Oz. Fetterman order 66 himself so fast.
Well, I mean,
what was the whole thing, like the coup d'etat that they focused on from Dr. Oz? Like that was their whole campaign.
I was going to say, I feel like I defended Dr. Oz knowing words back then, but, it was mostly against his own base being like, this knowing coup d'etat, knowing French words, that's a little zesty. But I will say it must be easier to pull the ladder up behind you when you're so tall. Like you can justify it a lot easier.
Yeah, I guess so. Right. You don't empathize with the ladder needers. Luck says John Fetterman should be a lesson that leftism isn't about finding the right person or right leader to get power. We should be actively discouraging our friends from projecting their hopes onto candidates and not worry about individual votes and behavior. Power comes from below, from organizing, from collective beliefs and cultural shifts.
True, but we've also, I think to say that we don't have any politicians in office like the Squad, who hasn't been, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, AOC, of course. I mean, they certainly have not been disappointments. I mean, at least if you're a normal person and not some
oh my God,
one on the far weird doorist corners of the internet. You can certainly disagree with some things they've done, but overall they've held true to exactly what we expected from them for the most part.
Rashida Tlaib has just basically been like, I'm not going to couch anything. I'm posting about the Nakba. I'm calling it a genocide. I'm not doing your bullshit. I'm not playing your game. Right. And she has no obligation to do so as a Palestinian American. Like, her bravery, I don't know. I mean, so I agree with you, Lux, that electoral politics are sometimes way too much of the emphasis about how we should be gaining power. But seeing someone like her being a representative and how, meaningful that is, and someone like Ilhan Omar, too, who is a refugee, right? Who experienced war. I think that has value. I do.
I say don't treat anyone like a hero or someone to idolize. But there are people like the ones we just mentioned who are certainly our allies.
Yes, that's well said.